Hello, folks. I decided today, instead of reading a parable out of the Bible, I would just share some rambling thoughts. Today, I wanted to challenge you to question your faith. And I'm including myself. I'm not saying you guys, I'm perfect. No, I'm, I think about it every day. The people back in the biblical days had enormous faith. They were very devoted. And here we are. We can't even stand to wait in a McDonald's drive-through window for more than 30 seconds. I don't know how committed we are. But imagine being Job. You think you have as much faith as Job? He went through all kinds of hell. Yeah, you're a lot of help. Satan had a talk with God one day and said, God was bragging on Job being his best servant, and Satan said, take your wall of protection away from Job and I'll have him cursing you in no time. God said, okay, have at it, but whatever you do, you can't kill him. So Satan goes down there and kills Job's 7 sons and 3 daughters, killed his 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, 500 she-donkeys, and it didn't say how many servants, but it killed most of his servants. And then Satan said, well, if I can touch him, maybe he'll give in. So God said, you can touch him, but you can't kill him. So Satan goes down and gives Job boils head to toe. He just covered. And his lucky Job, his wife was still alive, but she wasn't much support. She said, Job, why don't you just curse God and die? And Job's friends came over and said, Job, you had to really commit a great sin to pay the kind of price you just paid. And Job says, no, sir. I've been a loyal Christian all my life. I have not sinned. And his 3 friends were just harping on him. You had to do something. Anyway, Job was loyal all throughout all this, and he ended up with double what he had before. So he was a wealthy man and went through all that and ended up a wealthy man. But Satan tested his faith. You think you could put up with all that and come out smiling? I wonder myself, could I? I think I could, because I've already went through a lot. What about Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? O King Nebuchadnezzar built a golden statue, an idol. That's last week's episode. Anyway, Daniel and King Nebuchadnezzar said everybody in the land must fall down and worship this golden statue when the music started playing. And if you don't, you're going to end up in the lion's den. So Daniel got caught praying because he wasn't going to pray to that golden statue. Anyway, these guys went to the king and snitched on Daniel, and the king looked at the decree, and sure enough, there was no exceptions. So even though he loved Daniel, he had to throw him in the lion's den and lock him in there overnight. How would you like to be locked up with a bunch of hungry lions overnight and have faith that God will bring you through it? Well, he did, and he came out unscathed. And then they threw them snitches in there along with their wives and children, and the lions tore them to pieces. And then somehow I guess they changed it from lion's den to the fire furnace. Anyway, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, we ain't worshiping no darn golden idols. You're going to have to throw us in the furnace. And Nebuchadnezzar said, you got to throw him in there. There's no reversing that decree. And the 3 Hebrew boys said, it's okay, our God will bring us through it. And sure enough, they got thrown in there, and Jesus ended up dancing around in the furnace with them. And they came out unscathed. Their hair wasn't even singed. The clothes didn't smell like smoke. But that took some great faith to, you know, I know God will bring us through it. And even if He doesn't, that's okay. We'll go to heaven. Man, that takes some nerves of steel to do what these people did. And then God told Abraham to take his son Isaac up to Mount Golgotha, I think, the mountain. Take him up there and sacrifice him, his only son, just like God sacrificed his only son. And Abraham takes Isaac up there, and his son Isaac's looking up like, Dad, I see the firewood, I see the knife, but where's the sacrificial lamb? This isn't looking good, Dad. He said, don't worry, my son, God will provide. And sure enough, he strapped Isaac down on the altar, and he was fixing to bring the knife down and sacrifice his only son. And God told him, stop, Abraham, don't harm the child. Look over in the bush, there's a goat or a ram tangled up. That's your sacrifice. But that's a lot of faith right there. Who could kill their own son? But Abraham knew he would either stop him or he would kill him and God would bring him back to life. He had faith. He knew, do what God says. Doesn't matter. And then, as things go on in current days, and we end up, it says you got to take the mark of the beast and worship the Antichrist, or you can't buy or sell. Now, how many people are going to take the mark of the beast? I'm not. I know most of you aren't either, but I hope you got some food stored up, because you're not going to be able to go down to the Quick Trip or Walmart and go buy some food. You can't buy or sell if you don't take the mark of the beast. But if you do take the mark of the beast, you're going to wish you hadn't. Because in Revelations it says the first angel poured out his vial upon those who took the mark of the beast and worshipped the beast. And there was mourning and gnashing of teeth, and we're going to, if it happens during our lifetime, we're going to face some really tough decisions. And I could go on and on and on, but I just wanted to kind of lay out some of these great men that had faith of steel and stood with God no matter what they were facing. I know most people are too soft nowadays. Heck, you got tennis shoes you slip your foot into because we're too damn lazy to tie our shoes. I mean, you think you can face that kind of challenge from a man? Oh man, that's... Anyway, I think I can, because I'm not going to go into personal details, but I've been through a lot. And God was with me the whole time, so I'm going to stick with Him. Anyway, thanks for y'all putting up with my rambling. I'll see you next week. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it.